Crash outs. Everybody has them.
You tripping!
Including SpongeBob.
I'm SpongeBob.
So today, we'll be going over his 5 best.
SpongeBob! There's a bomb strapped to my
Kicking off the list at number 5, we have Overtime. We're starting off with a banger here, as SpongeBob tweaking over Patrick going to work is a classic. We all know the best moment is when SpongeBob screams overtime, but honestly the part where he opens the briefcase is underrated. Like, he's just so mad in this scene.
briefcase.
Moving on to number 4, we have that moment when SpongeBob finds out that Patrick had the lens cap on while filming the Mermaid Man movie. This one just makes the list because of how creative it is. We see SpongeBob's crash out technique, as well as everyone's reactions. When SpongeBob decides to uproot the ground and suck up some worms, the ladies hit the most Vine boom audible gasp of all time. Now we're up to number 3, which is SpongeBob cursing out Mr. Krabs after he's forced to run back and forth buying things for him and Mrs. Puff. I like this one because SpongeBob pulls his eyeballs out to look like Mr. Krabs mocking him, which is kind of disturbing, but it's pretty funny. Oh, and then he starts speaking in tongues and leaves Mr. Krabs floored. Like, look at how genuinely flabbergasted this man is. As great as this crash out is, though, there is another one involving Mr. Krabs that's above it. Moving on to number 2, we got SpongeBob getting gaslit into thinking Patrick is a genius and that he's an idiot.
It's normal size and fully functional.
That line lives in my head rent-free. I think what makes this one so good is that it's a 3v1. And then you got SpongeBob trying to defend himself and desperately trying to convince Patrick's parents that he's not dumb, while Patrick is being the gaslight king and making himself look smarter every second. I think it really culminates when it hits that laughing montage, and at that point, you can understand SpongeBob tweaking out and then crashing. And finally, we have number 1, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Like, literally half of this episode is just SpongeBob crashing out. Not only does SpongeBob crash out on Mr. Krabs here, again, he straight up roasts Squidward, pushes him and his bed out of his wall all the way to the Krusty Krab, and then he ends up physically assaulting Mr. Krabs. Like, how could anything top this? Well, how about the same scene, but in German?
Musste der Geizkragen, Tadeusz schnauzt sich seit Ewigkeiten bei mir durch und Sie wollen ihn nicht wieder